Good morning everybody, and a very warm welcome to Behringer. And today I have a layout update and some other bits and pieces, and the theme is going to be basically the story of the pacer, housekeeping and the emergency engineering works. So without further ado, we'll get on with it. Here in front of you is my newest edition, and this is my Class 143 Pacer in the old livery by Arriva Trains Wales. I've been after getting one of these for a long time, and I just never really got round to it. And I tried to get hold of one through Real Track, who actually produced these, and for whatever the reason I just couldn't get hold of them. So I managed to track one down through Kerno Models, and this is pretty much the exact same price as they were selling it at Real Track anyway. I know Kerno sometimes do charge a bit more, but in this case it was pretty much the same deal as at Real Track. And I was at the Aldershot exhibition on the Saturday, and they were going down, so when I ordered it I asked them to bring it down, and sure enough they did. So we'll take a bit of a closer look at my 143. Just take it off the tripod. Firstly, it has directional lighting, and it also has a tension lock coupling attached to the front of it when you get it, but you can actually remove the tension lock coupling and replace it with one of these more realistic couplings. It's a dummy coupling, it doesn't actually work or anything like that, although those of you who use KDs probably could put a KD coupling onto that, and I'm sure that would work just as fine. It also has cab lighting, it has interior lighting, and it has very, very good detail attached to it. It's really, really great. The only thing I would say is like I said, it's really close coupling, but it's quite tricky to join together. It's got I think it's 8 pins, and to plug into the socket, and obviously that provides the lighting to both the power car and the dummy car, but actually attaching it is quite tricky. I would sort of suggest, a bit like my 153 and generally anything like that with pins, is that once you attach them, just try and leave them alone, because when you start sort of like moving them or taking them apart or putting them away, you can bend pins and things. So generally, as a general rule of thumb, that once I attach these things, I try and keep them pretty much attached all the time without having to separate them. You can buy these with passengers as well if you want to. They also do this Arriva Trains Wales livery in the Sir Tom Jones named version, but I wanted the unnamed version, which is what this one is here. You can also get them in Northern livery. I think there's Metro livery, there's also First Great Western livery, and there may be one or two others, but this is the livery I went for. It's a great model actually, it's really, really nice, but it has highlighted one or two issues with my track work because of the fact that it has got single wheels on the bogies as opposed to being a Bobo. They're just literally just one wheel there, one axle there, one axle there, so it is quite tricky. So if your track work isn't that great, or you have got issues with it, you'll soon know about it with this, but I've managed to correct it, so it's now okay. Also, I was a bit worried because it didn't like some of my corners because they're quite tight, and obviously because it's quite close coupled together, I didn't think it'd like it, but it hasn't done too badly. It's a little bit grindy at the minute, and I think it's just because it's brand new and it's been sitting around in the box for some time, and so it probably needs a good running in more than anything else. So now we move on to the housekeeping, and I said I was going to tidy up this area, and I was working on this area, so let me show you what I've done. It's nearly done. It still isn't 100% sorted out. I need to do the ballasting for it for a start, but my model shop hasn't got it in stock, so I'm waiting for it to come into stock at the minute, so that's kind of delayed things a little bit, but I had been working on other bits which I'll talk about later. I added some signage, which I said I was going to do, and I've moved that over from Beringer Station. But one of the things I have been doing is I've completed this bit of it, which I hadn't showed you. I've used the some card for the paving. My friend Michelle had given me some trees, so I've put one on either side. The little lights are non-working, but they are from Ratio, and this is basically the back of IKEA, and it's just like a one-way street, so that runs around the back, so that's why it's like that, just to sort of give you a bit of an overview. The station platform has also had a lot of work. It got repainted, and that's not quite straight. So, and the fencing got painted in the green. I'm going to take you around the other side so I can show it from the other side to show you what else I've done. So I also painted the platform, and I toyed with the idea of putting a yellow line along it, but that didn't quite work out, so I decided to leave it as it is. I then had some odds and sods and decided to put this information board up. This is an old Ratio Nightwing kit top that I had spare. The posts are the metal posts that I also had from when I did the canopy. The signage was the stuff that I'd pre-ordered and bought from eBay some time ago when I originally did Moorwood Station, and basically I ordered all these spares, and I sort of put all these spares together to create this little information post and a little canopy. It could do with somebody standing there looking at it. So that was really nice. I'm really pleased with that, actually. That comes out really nice. It could do with a bit with a light to really set it off, but I like it anyway. And then after, obviously, you've got this bit here which we'd already seen previous. That kind of finishes off that bit. So this is Moorwood Station, and these were the posts that I originally used for the canopy, and those are the same two posts that I've used for the information board. So some of the other bit of housekeeping tidying up that I've done is I've tidied up this part of it, which I didn't have before. It was just a plain wood, so that's just something just to tidy it up and just marry it all up. Also what I did is here, I can't even remember now, oh yeah, this bit here, this was plain and blanked off, and it was just a gaping hole, so I've just filled that in where you can see the polystyrene of the incline before, so I've filled that in with some more walling, brick walling, and also filled it in with some overgrowth to bed it all in, and that kind of blends into the platform towards the end of the platform. I have tested this platform, and I have actually used it with the 143, but I think really it does work with the 143 and the 150 because they tend to be the shorter of the DMUs, but I think I'm going to dedicate this platform more to the single car units like the 153, maybe the 128 or the 122, which I pre-ordered. I think it's a 122, it could be a 121. Anyway, so that's how that's going to work. So here we are back at Moorwood Station, and on to the final part of this video, and this is the emergency engineering works. Now, I don't know if any of you follow Peter Shaw, but if you do, you know who I'm talking about, and he had a bit of, and if you don't, please check out his channel. He had a bit of misfortune whilst attempting to weather his Class 37. But his misfortune turned into some good fortune because he managed to find a body shell that he liked, and he ended up with virtually a brand new loco. So it's kind of what's happened to me in that sense, and I will show you why in just a jiffy. because Morwood Beringer has changed quite significantly. I have now built this. Now, originally the plan was for my 2-week break was just to do some housekeeping. Well, actually, sorry, was to actually get some more freight towards New Shop. That was the first plan, but then I couldn't quite figure out how I was going to execute it. So then I decided to do the housekeeping, which is what I've been doing. But then this kind of came up rather unexpectedly. But nonetheless, I like it a lot. What basically happened is I ended up with two points that completely failed, and basically I had to lift the track anyway because I couldn't run trains on the main line because of this one point, and it was bugging me for some time, and I was never really quite happy with it. So I decided just to basically rip it out and simplify the track quite significantly. If I take you to the main lines, first of all, I need to redo the ballasting on this. I haven't really done it properly yet because I had to readjust it this morning. If I actually just sort of pan you out, just to sort of see, it's actually a framework. It's just a wooden framework, and all this wood basically I already had to hand. It was all spare knockoffs, offcuts that I had. It was only the top that I had to actually buy, and actually the card, and that's just to create the dark interior as the train's coming through. I'm thinking of putting some plastic card in here to make it the same, but like I said, I'm going to tidy up all the ballasting. But as you can see, all that complicated track work that was along here and point work is all gone. And the reason for that is, like I said, one of the points had failed along here, and I was doing an R in and what I was going to do, and quite frankly it was taking my enjoyment out of the railway because I wasn't really using the main line properly because it was bugging me so much, because I was getting fed up with points not working properly, and also they were interfering with the other line for some reason and I couldn't figure out why. So I decided just to kind of rip the whole lot out and just kind of go, right, we're just going to simplify the track so I can enjoy it, and the main thing that I'm good at is scenery work. So therefore I'm just going to concentrate on just having a simple track and pretty much just doing the work on the scenery side of things. So if I just sort of pan you out, that's how it kind of looks. Now it looks a bit of a mess, but you'll see how, when I put the board on top, you'll see how it works. I just wanted to show you. It's very, very simple construction really. Like I said, it's just wood, and it was just pinned and glued and then secured in place with these bits, and all this can be lifted up because it's not glued into place. So if I want to remove this, I just have to unscrew all of this and it will just lift off, so it's not really a big deal. And basically what's happened here is along the branch, it just goes straight through now and straight up. And I've just got this side in here where this DMU is, and that just terminates there, and then the rest is the same all the way up to New Shop. But it has simplified the track a lot more. And the other thing is I had some point work that used to go off here into the yard, and I wasn't really using the yard, and I also felt that there wasn't enough height on the layout, which is what was bugging me as well. So not only the points was bugging me, but I also thought it looked a bit flat. So that's why I wanted a bit of height on the layout. Now if we carry on going down this end, let me show you how I've blended it all in. I've just basically done all of that. All this bit here is new, and that beds into the bit that was here already. So if I just sort of take you along the line, you can sort of see. I had these outcroppings, this one here and that one there I'd had for some time knocking about, which I'd made, and they were just extras knocking about, so I thought I'd just put them in, and I didn't really cover it properly. I've left some bare patches as well, and then there's a few other bits of outcropping here and there. I've also had some scenic foliage from Woodland Scenics. I can't remember what it's called now, and that was also donated to me. So you know, I've sort of been using it and just trying to give it a mixture and try and sort of build up the layers. So I'm really pleased with that bit. I still haven't done the ballasting down that end because I'm still waiting on that, but that is now all bedded in, and that works out nicely here to this bit. Now this bit I haven't painted yet. That's something I need to do, so this is over the next few days that I'm going to be painting and tidying up the ballasting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the top on just so you can see what it's like with the top on. So this is with the top on, and if I just show you, you can see how dark it looks under there just by putting that card in. So that makes it so when the trains come out it looks quite kind of gloomy, yeah, it looks really good. Anyway, so this is the top, and this is the only bit I've paid for in terms of wood. And what I've been using, this is a little word for Graham over at Lakeside, who put up a video yesterday, and he sort of had been testing out what this is called, stone plastic art, and that is what is on here at the moment. Now I've attached this using Yoo-hoo, and that's how that's kind of attached. But there is a bit of a word of warning by using Yoo-hoo. You have to make sure it's spread out thinly, because otherwise it starts bubbling up and eating up into the plastic if you're not careful, which is sort of what's happened here. As you can probably tell, there's a couple of ripples in it. And I'm not that overly bothered because that's probably not going to stay there anyway, because the plan for the town scene, well, the plan for this top boards actually is to carry on with the bridge that I'd had previous, which is the road bridge and across, and that will lead into probably a housing estate or something like that, just because I want it to bed into with this back scene, and so it looks like it is part of the back scene, and it is part of the world kind of thing. And the other thing is I've got this nasty bit here which I don't particularly like, where the back scene ends up going into the sky and there's nothing there. I've tried to kind of bed it in and it sort of works to a degree, but what I'm thinking is like if I disguise that by maybe putting a house right there or something and take away that line, then it will just blend it all in, and then so basically have like a housing scene here with maybe like a convenience store as you do, and then if they want to go proper shopping then they go into town, which leads me onto this next bit, which is going to be the next bit, which is going to go all the way along. So this sort of height here will be raised all the way along to the town scene down at this end, and that will link it all up, and that will have one kind of big town scene kind of thing. And I'm not sure if we're going to have some low relief shops on the top row or whatever, I'm not exactly sure. As for the lines down the bottom, they will be terminating lines. Clearly, they're not going to go anywhere, and I'm thinking that maybe they will terminate at this point here, so I can still see them. So they could just sort of poke their nose, maybe have one coach or one carriage just poking out, or whatever. And then that way, if they do get a little bit stuck under the underground section, then at least I can still get to them from under here, rather than closing this all off. And I think that's probably the way to do it, because I think it's just going to be a more simpler layout, and then it's going to be more enjoyable to run. And also, like I said, I can put like a row of houses or a row of shops or something along this top bit in the street and sort of link it up to that end. So that's kind of what's going to be the plan. And the good thing is we're coming up to Christmas time. So, and that means, I'll show you what that means, if I can find it. Yep, Poundland lighting. So I'm going to get myself a load of Poundland lighting when they start bringing them into the season, and I'm going to get another shed load of them, and then so therefore if I want to do the top scene and put light up the street and everything, I can just do it on the cheap. So so that's how my sort of plan is going to be. So this little bubbled up section probably won't actually be in view, because it will probably come out this way anyway, so it'll probably hide that. But that's where we're at with this. This wasn't meant to happen, to be honest. It's just kind of happened, but I'm glad it has. I mean, in some ways, the fact that the point works have failed, they failed at a good time, because I still had time to correct it, because this wasn't a 5-minute job. This has taken me about 3 days, 4 days or something to kind of put this together and to get it to this sort of point. So I didn't really want to do it on a day off, and obviously I have to rip off the track that was down below as well, so it's been a lot of work. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling and I'm going to love you and leave you. Please let me know your thoughts, and like I said, you know, I'll speak to you when I have more information to give you. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed to Peter Shaw's channel, please go over and have a look, because it's very good. So bye for now.